All right, hey everybody, my name is Jay.
And I'm Meka.
And this is our channel. Today we're going to be doing a review of Love After Lockup episode 4. So thanks for stopping by. Give us a like, comment, subscribe. We got this content and a lot more on our channel and more to come. So like I said, this is going to be Love After Lockup episode 4. And I'll let you take it away.
So this episode starts off with a couple that was introduced on the last episode, Will and Courtney. Last episode basically ended off where Will was at the hotel with Courtney's mom because they're in Colorado, right?
No, they're in Oregon.
Oh, Oregon. Okay, they're in Oregon, ready to go pick Courtney up from jail basically. And so they're sitting in the lobby and he's talking to her about how he wants to marry Courtney. And so the mom is kind of like, she's kind of like, I don't understand, like, why you would want to marry her just yet. Like, she feels like he's moving too fast, considering the fact that he's never met Courtney in person. They've only talked via like the little, I guess you call it FaceTime chat or whatever you want to call it in prison, that equivalent of it. So, he's never met her in person, but yet he wants to marry her. And the mom has some real concerns because Courtney has had a long history of just being troubled. She has a drug history. She's actually in jail for theft of vehicles. So I think the mom is kind of like, do you know what you're getting into? Like, not necessarily. She thinks it's weird that he wants to do that, but she's also probably concerned, like, yeah, I don't know if my daughter would be ready for that, I guess. So they end up going to meet her outside of jail, and this guy walks up. Turns out this is just like her sponsor, because again, she did have a drug problem, and this is somebody she knew prior to going into jail the last time. So he's basically there offering support. Let's see, before they left the hotel though, right? Was that before they left the hotel? He was talking about, yeah, so he's ready to get it on and popping with Courtney when she gets to the hotel once he picks her up. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. Before they even leave the hotel, the producers are like talking to him, and he's saying how like his bag had a note in it that had been checked by TSA. And so he kind of starts going through what's in the bag, and it's a lot of bondage, sexual toys, vibrators. He even says at one point, he's like, he can't wait to tie her up to the bed. And I just thought it was really, really cringy. Again, he's never met her before. And that, to me, like, if I'm the other person, I would feel like weirded out about that. I don't know. I would feel really weirded out about that. Like, that it's so, it's a lot going on right away. Like, I feel like you're not really trying to get to know me necessarily.
Yeah, that is kind of...
It was kind of cringy. Yeah. And it goes back to what you were saying about the control stuff, remember?
Yeah, that, like, him... I don't know, that's just weird. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it's like, why are you so ready to go over the top if you plan on marrying this person?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you even see if they like any of that stuff? Why don't you try to just get it in the first time in general? You sit up here, you got all this stuff that you want to go ahead and, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it seems like it just doesn't seem cool. It almost seems like a violation, kind of, like mental violation. So, I don't know, dude seems like that should be a flag. I'm very curious if
how that goes, right?
Yeah,
and it's like, again, like, she's just getting out of prison, like, so you're under a lot of rules, like, you can't do anything, you can't, like, you know what I mean? And so to be...
Well, she can do that.
She can do what?
That.
What?
Go ahead.
No, what can she do?
I'm talking about the bag of fun that he has. That's not going to violate anything except for her, possibly.
What, in jail she can do that?
No, I'm saying, what? No, she's outside jail. You're saying she has restrictions. I'm saying there's no restriction on that.
No, what I'm saying is like, like I was getting into like the bondage and all that kind of stuff. It's like, like being like in shackles and handcuffed and physical restraints and stuff. I just don't know. I ain't been in jail before, but I don't know if I would be like super excited about getting tied up and shit coming out of jail. Like, I don't know. That just doesn't seem like a sexual thing I would be ready to just do right away. And it just seems kind of aggressive. Like too soon, too much too soon, and too many assumptions. And like they clip to her and they ask her while she's in jail. You can hear her on the audio. Basically, have they talked about sex? And Courtney was like, "Yeah, we talked about sex." But just like with the marriage thing, she's kind of like, I want to take things kind of slow. It's been like 2 years or however long she's been in jail.
15 months.
Yeah. So she's like, it's been that long since I've even done anything. So I kind of want to.
I feel like it's been that long for him too because he's a little bit.
It's like overzealous. But yeah, I just think it was a lot. So that's basically what happened with that. Did you have anything to add to that?
No, I will add that, they went to meet her. Her sober coach was there. She pulls up. She gets out the car. To be 24, you can tell that she's been through things because she looks weathered. Yeah. So, but I will say for somebody that says she does, and it could just be, her really excited to see him. Like she was kind of all on him, like jumped up and on him and stuff. So, we'll see. Me personally, well, actually they video chatted, so they knew how they look together, but whatever.
You think they look weird together?
Yeah, they look odd.
Really?
Yeah. They look like that, but I could see them together. Like she looks 10 years her own senior, and he just looks creepy. So it is what it is. But yeah, nothing much happened. She got out, which So that's all I want to say, that she did get out, and at least it sounds like she has some sort of perspective of kind of wanting to go correct or whatnot. So.
Yeah. So basically their story is just like him wanting to marry her. That seems like that's going to be like the focus of their story, and like basically what decision she's going to make in that. But like I said in the last episode, she's kind of like, yeah, I just want to take my time, hence probably get to know him a little bit better in person. So yeah. So we're going to move on to Alexis, Julius, and Ashley. What was I doing? Alexis, Julius, and Ashley. There wasn't too much that went on this episode. Julius and Alexis spent their first night together. Alexis was, satisfied and happy with their first night together. So was Julius. You could tell that Julius is really comfortable with Alexis. Alexis is close to his family. Like she knows his family. You can see her in pictures at various baby showers for the sister and everything. Like she knows that family very well. And you could tell how Julius talks to her when they're alone like that. He's comfortable opening up to her, because one of his issues right now is that his family, including his sister, who introduced Alexis to Julius, they didn't go see him the whole time he was in jail. Now, he was in jail 6 years, and they did not go see him the entire time. His mom and none of his sisters.
She didn't have a license. I was like, all right.
Yeah, she said she didn't have a license, and he took that very well. I'll say that, like, when he was talking to Alexis, he was like, I basically wasn't even really thinking about trying to be like, hanging out with them and talking with them about this, but he decided to go meet with them in the end, and considering that he's hurt, and he did say, he was like, if any of them went to jail, I would have went to see them, he handled it very, very well. Like his mom was like kind of talking to him, and she was like, I'm sorry, I should have did this, I could have did that, was bad. And he kind of like stopped her, which led to that like whole son mom relationship. Sometimes you just kind of you can see that he still has that bond with her, even though he's disappointed in what happened. And he seemed to be okay. I think that later on, possibly they may have issues just because there's a distrust there that has been broken. And so trust has been broken because you feel like, your family, in a sense, kind of abandoned you. So if the family is expecting Julius to just be like, hey, let's go hang out and stuff like that, you know, they might be disappointed. But right now, he's handling it really well. Um, they do show apart because at the end of the last episode, Ashley sent Julius some
Pictures.
What'd you think about those pictures?
I don't.
So she sent him some pictures, and they show him flipping through the pictures on this episode, and he literally says like, "She all right, but Alexis look better." But throughout the day, Ashley is continuing to text and call him, and he's not answering. They clip to Ashley, and Ashley is upset. She's like, "It's my birthday. He hasn't even called me this morning. He hasn't texted me. He hasn't said anything." So she continues to do these things, and he's out at this picnic with his mom and his sisters and stuff. He's with Alexis, so he's not available to talk to her. But when they get back to the house, actually on their way back to the house, he keeps like saying that one of his homeboys keeps hitting him up to hang out, and Alexis is like, they need to chill. Like, you just got home. Like, you'll see them. She not knowing that he's, texting Ashley. But you could tell that Alexis is not dumb. And she's kind of like peeping game. She's just observing. She's handling it pretty well, considering that she probably has a pretty good idea that he might be talking to somebody else. But she's pretty calm about it. And so to the point, there's a part that me and Jay kind of feel weird about because of the way it is. He's sitting on the couch, and then he excuses himself from the couch. The couch is right next to the balcony. You said the door was open, right?
Yeah, it was.
I think this was an editing issue because the sliding door was open. Alexis is laying on the couch, and he's on speakerphone, supposedly with Ashley telling her, "Hey, I'm on my way." And so Ashley's getting super excited, and then he goes back in the house, walks back in the house, where Alexis supposedly doesn't hear any of this conversation, but she is acting weird towards him because she's just getting this weird feeling that he's up to doing something. She can't, tell what it is. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go see whatever friend this is for 30 minutes. And when he walks out the door, she's like, "Yeah, I don't feel right about that. Something is up with that." But she doesn't say anything. And basically, he catches an Uber. And he gets to Ashley's hotel room, and Ashley opens the door, and then the show is over. So we don't get to see, that's the end of their thing. It really wasn't a whole lot going on this one. I feel like we kind of did us dirty because on Instagram they put a clip of them actually meeting and said it was going to be for this episode, and they did not do that. So we'll have to wait till next episode to see the actual meetup. Jay thinks your theory about why they're doing it like that.
Yeah, I think my prediction is he cuts Ashley off. Since the beginning of this show, I've kind of seen how Julius was moving, and it seemed as though, like he said something in this episode, he's like, "Yeah, Ashley's cool." And he said he wanted to see, but he said, the thing that he missed more about being in prison was having choices, which the choices of the people that were contacting him. But I did always say that I thought once he got out, he was going to gravitate towards Alexis more, and that he has to handle Ashley in a certain way so she don't blow up the situation, which he has shown with little stuff that she has done, even before he got out, to a certain extent, that she is the type of person that if she feels a way, she will be impulsive and make certain decisions, and don't nobody want to have to deal with that. He just got out and whatnot, so I think he's just slow walking it to be like, "Yeah, this ain't what it do." You know what I mean? Especially with the way that she acts. But I'll be honest, I'm starting to kind of feel bad for her because
Alexis or Ashley?
For Ashley.
Okay.
Because she really, you can tell for whatever screwed up reasons, she is very invested in whatever she thinks could be of this. It's not going to turn into nothing, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Because she's not helping herself with the way she's handling the situation. So, I mean, some people like that clinginess and that overly aggressiveness. I know a person like myself in my past, hell no. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool. So, and I can kind of peep that vibe from him. Like, ain't nobody got no time for that. You know, and also, if you overly invest and you don't even know a person like that, and you're kind of bugging like
Yeah,
that.
like, what do you, yeah,
you're going to drive a person off. So, but yeah, I say all that to say, I don't think it's going to turn out good for her. I slightly feel bad for her, but at the same time, it's, you know, it's her choice and she got to take accountability for her, for lack of a better term, stupidity.
You got, so that was it for them. But do you have JK and Brooke?
Yeah, I'll take JK and Brooke. So, JK and Brooke, they finally get to where JK will be staying with his mother and everything, and they have his stepfather, which you can tell him and he even said that, you know, at first he was really kind of rejecting of that relationship, but like they built it to where they have a real cool familiarity with each other. Like it seems, you know, pretty good, them two. But you know, he's like, all right, I got this monitor on, just kind of scoping out how he's gonna adjust to, you know, life being out of prison and being on home confinement for 60 days, because that's how long he has to do. Whilst they're there, they show him the room that he's going to be sleeping in so he can have some privacy, because he was going to be sleeping on the couch. They look like they have a family member that lives there with them, an older lady. So they go in the room and it's almost like a nursing home kind of type setup. You know, there's a wheelchair, there's a pot for urine, there's a bed, it's all rickety, whatnot, and you know, understandably so, like he's like, yo, I just did a few years, I'm trying to get it in or whatever. And Brooke hops on him, she's like, I'm not trying to do that up in here, like I'm good. But he's trying to tell her, like, I can't come to your crib, I can't do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
early on.
and you know, and then she straddles him, is still like, I don't want to do this here. It's like, you're not helping the situation right now. I am not thinking with the correct mind in this moment. And he's like, yo, I don't care. I need some right now. Like, I don't give a damn. And then the next thing you know, they show a clip of JK's mom looking like, am I hearing what I think I am? Yes, you are. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that bed was for sure making noise.
Yeah,
that thing. Yeah. It was a little bed, little twin bed. It was metal. I'm like, oh.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure they kind of knew that was going to happen. I mean,
they set it up so they could do that.
Well, yeah, that's like, go ahead. I mean, they could have went to Golden Corral or wherever the hell they was gonna give them some space, you know what I mean? I'm not.
Right.
Yeah, they could have bounced and let
you
them.
You said Golden Corral. She gave him condoms too.
Yeah.
The mom.
They didn't do that.
He did not.
My mom.
He said he wasn't gonna use those after being in jail for that long. I'm like.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's.
But they did that, and then their story kind of goes from there to Brooke noticing that JK's been on his phone consistently since like 3 a.m. And he, you know, she's concerned that it's Alex, and she's telling him, look, that's a no-go. He's like, yo, go ahead and look through the phone, do this, do that. You know what I mean? Which two sides to it. She could be being insecure and jealous, which she is when it comes to that girl, but rightfully so. She has a reason to feel that way. But at the same time, JK, like, I get it, you just got out. Now, could it be your boys text you at 3 in the morning? Yes. Is it your boys text you at 3 in the morning? Most likely not. Because usually, like, unless you're like, hey, we're finna link, or, you know what I'm saying, something like that, you're not going to respond to your boys at 3. Unless it's like an emergency, and they ain't calling you for no emergency, you just got out of prison. So you're kind of lending to her, you know, her thought process on that. So I kind of am leaning with Brooke on that, like, you know, who I am or whatever. But also, Brooke, you know, this girl has contact with his mom and all that stuff. For you to think that there's not going to be some level of contact, even if it's contact with him to dead the situation, she's not going to be like, oh, JK's out, I can't never talk to him because of Brooke. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's unrealistic. So, but I mean, like I said, I understand her view on it. So that happened, and then JK has to go and pretty much check in with corrections or whatnot. And he said it's going to be 15 minutes. Ended up taking like 2 hours, to the point where Brooke and the mother are worried that he's gotten detained and possibly being sent back. So their sequence ends with Brooke walking into the building to check and see what's going on with him, because she's been calling him, texting him, no answer or anything. So that's pretty much where their story ends on that one. So you know, yeah. You want me to take this one?
You can.
All right. So Demadric and Kiana. So Demadric's in a halfway house. You know what? No, I don't want to take this one. I know which one I want to take. You go ahead.
Oh, I wanted that one, but okay. So yeah, Demadric is still in the halfway house. They left off on the last episode where he went in to check in to his PO, right, or somebody outside the jail, and they kept him. He thought he was gonna be able to go home. I think, didn't he? He thought when he walked in there, he was gonna get whatever he needed to get, and he was gonna be able to come out. That didn't happen. They sent him to the halfway house.
Well, he was going to a halfway house.
He was going anyway?
Yeah. He was going to a halfway house either way.
But they didn't let him like go for the day and then come back or go check himself into the halfway house.
No, they never said what they held him for.
Okay.
Next thing they know that he's just calling Kiana from the halfway house.
Okay. So, he's calling her and she's at work. She works 2 jobs. She says she has spent upwards $20,000 on Demadric for various things. They don't go into detail what those are, but that is part of the reason why she's a hairstylist and she's a pharmacy tech person and all this stuff, right? So she's at work on the clock. He calls and he's like, "Hey, I need you to pick me up. I got an interview," because at this halfway house, he has to do like all these different things. He got to check off these boxes. Like he got to get a job. He got to go on interviews whenever they tell him. He got to do a bunch of different stuff in order to get up out of there. And so that's what he tells her. He's like, "Hey, I really need your help. Like, this is how I'm gonna get up out of here. Can you come get me and take me to my interview?" She clocks out of work to go get him. And she basically says that she feels like if she doesn't do it, then Joella, which is the baby mom, will do whatever it is she won't do. So she feels this extra pressure to basically be available to him, you know, whether she's at work or not. And I just felt like that's pretty sad, like to be under that amount of pressure to be with somebody if you feel like, you know, because you have things going on yourself in your life, like i.e. your job, and you might not be able to log out, and to have to worry about, okay, if I can't get to you, then all of a sudden you're just going to call this other woman, you know? So, you know, it is what it is. That's where she's at with that. Let's see. He has 3 kids with the baby mom. And he does say he's been talking to the baby mom, understandably so. He's been talking to her since he's been out of jail. He says it's to check on the kids and also check on her, make sure they're doing okay and they're all right. He's aware that Kiana and Joella do not get along. They don't like each other, which is gonna be an issue. It's gonna be a major issue because although Kiana is his current love or whatever, she does have to understand he has 3 children and they're young kids. 3 children. And it's his job also to make her feel secure. Like, what I will say that he did, because, you know, he ends up meeting with his baby mom at a restaurant. He didn't go to her house. We didn't really talk about that. He did meet with her at a restaurant. You know, he could have had the homeboy drop him off at her house and meet her over there. So I think he was maybe trying to set some type of boundaries, or maybe he can't go out so far. I don't know. But he did meet the baby mom at the restaurant. And they talked. And the baby mom basically was like, she wished he would have waited to get into a relationship because she really wasn't ready necessarily to let him go. And, you know, she still had feelings for him. You know, and he basically tells her, yeah, he understands that because he kind of felt the same way. Remember he said that? And then she proceeds to ask him, so do you really want to be in your relationship or do you want to come home with me and the boys? You know, and you had a take on that. where
Yeah,
you
it's the
felt
fact
like,
that she said come home, lets you know that there's, well, they kind of admit to it, but this is not going to turn out good.
yeah,
This is not like, you see them two, you can kind of see the energy and whatnot. Those type of situations, at least from my understanding, and not my personal understanding, but well, yeah. Anyways, those type of things that it's not a one. Kiana's not helping with the situation by her allowing certain things. It's not like she just met this guy. Like she knows all this other stuff, so she's kind of falling into the same routine probably that she did before, which led to him having kids on her with Joella. And Joella is, as soon as I seen her, I was like, yeah, she found to be problematic. And then, yeah, when she, come home with the boys, like her having that mentality, it's like, okay, pretty well, he already knows. Like, well, put like this, they're not at her crib now.
yeah,
They will be.
yeah.
You know what I mean? At a certain point, saying he's gonna pull up on her. You know what I mean? So, and that just kind of sucks for Kiana, but you know, you gotta live and you learn, I guess. And she's having a hard time learning that lesson, and she's getting ready to get taught another one. Because I'm willing to put money on it. Within the next 2 episodes, he's pulling up on her, or vice versa.
Yeah, it's their relationship is just, you could tell she has the attitude of like, she even made like a couple of comments that were like, he does what he does, hopefully old girl is ready for it. Joella said that about Kiana. The baby mom said that about Kiana. She's like, I hope she's ready for his BS, basically like he be out here in these streets. And the way she said that was kind of like, I know how he is. It was like, I accept how he is. And
she knows she's going to be part of the BS.
And she going to be part of the BS. He also invited her to his homecoming party. They're throwing him a homecoming party at his house. And he told her to bring the kids up there. My thing was, you drop the kids off. From the clips I saw, she gonna be there at the party.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, me personally, I wouldn't do that, but I have seen those type of situations happen.
Yeah.
Where that person, and I guess you could do it depending on the relationship.
It depends on the relationship, yeah.
But me personally, it just all depends on the people who it is. Some people keep those lines open and close family ties with exes and baby's moms and stuff like that. And if you can actually manage that in a respectful way, cool. I'm not gonna say most, I'm not gonna blanket statement, but there are people that do that in not respectful ways. And they do it, but they do it under the guise of being respectful, and it be some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I'm gonna keep my thoughts about that to myself until we get to episodes where I can really expound upon that. But trust me, I got something loaded for that.
Yeah, because I mean, you're right. It is about like say like the baby moms and the wife or whoever, they get along fine. Like they cool, everybody's cool. That's a different type situation. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically what went on with them.
I'll be damned. But yeah, no.
That's basically what went on with them. And we're moving on to Michael and Joey. Yeah. I got Michael and Joey.
You know who I want.
Oh my God. So we gonna get through Michael and Joey real quick. Michael is up to no good.
Michael's going back to jail.
He's going back to jail. If I could bet money on it, I would. It starts off, basically last episode y'all saw them in, because they weren't in the last episode. They were in episode 2. Michael found out that Joey and his mom, erased all his contacts off his phone and reset his phone. That last episode 2, it left off with him being like, "Oh heck no, you erased all my stuff." So basically, to sum it up, Michael feels like Joey is being controlling. He's basically, every little thing he does, Joey is like, "Are you sure that's what you're supposed to be doing? Have you talked to your PO?" And Michael is like, "It's irritating." He was like, "That stuff is going to irritate me." And it's taking a toll on Joey because he's starting to see like, wait, this man might not have the maturity level nor the wherewithal to stay his tail up out of jail. Like he's he looking like he want to go back to jail.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they end up going to eat, and Joey is going. Well, Michael is going through like his paperwork, his release paperwork, and they're kind of confused on when he's supposed to report to the halfway house. And Michael is kind of like, well, shoot, it's say tomorrow. And Joey is like, you need to call your PO and just find out if it's okay. And so he's like, no, I'm not doing that. You know, it's not on here. I'm not doing that. Long story short, he doesn't go to his, he doesn't report to the halfway house. They go the next day. He's been at that halfway house before. The people there recognize him. Michael is kind of like, F these people. They tell him, you got to check in and check out. His tail puts that he's checking out on the board, walks outside, gets in the car with Joey, and was like, you need to get ready to pay $20 because I'm not coming back in time. Mm-hmm. You know? And so that was that. Michael is pretty much going to be cutting up, and I do believe that he probably is going to go back to jail. More than likely. So we'll end it there with them. That was what happened with them, to sum that up.
Okay. So that's them. And finally, because there is no Bradley and Savannah on this episode. So this is going to be very brief.
Yeah.
Because Brooklyn and Brian, their whole segment had to do with the fact that Brian had a picture of what was termed to be a fat booty bitch on the back of his tablet.
Big booty bitch.
Big booty. So, here's the thing. So what, Brooklyn? Brooklyn has some severe insecurities, and she's calling this dude, going off on him, bugging. And rightfully, like, he's something trying to talk to her, like, hey. She's not trying to hear. She's like, why ain't it a picture of me on the back of the tablet? I wonder why. I'm in jail. And he told her, he's like, do you want me to have a picture of you on the back of it so everybody else can see? And as mean as what I'm finna say, finna sound, in his mind, he's probably thinking, do you think I want a picture of you on the back of my tablet?
Don't do that. You don't know what people are attracted to.
This is true. Here's the thing. If he is attracted to her, she shouldn't she shouldn't be so insecure about something so, null and void.
Well, and it's even more null and void, right? Because when they blur the picture, but
you can tell it's from like a Mac.
And he said it was from Instagram. He was like, you mad about an Instagram bitch. He literally said that. He was like, this is just some random girl on Instagram. And she's like, I don't care. And I'm going to agree with Jay 100%. I'm in 100% agreement with what he said.
I was in, and he tried to explain it to her respectfully. He did. And she kept wilding, and he hung up on her.
Yeah.
As I would. Because like you're saying, I'm not finna argue about this. He called her back. But like he said, like, and, I get him probably doing that to kind of stunt that train of thought that she was on. But it's like, you need to chill. Like, come on, like, this is the last thing that he needs to be or want to be, or her having to deal with, the one thing I've seen about her the whole time she's been on screen in the show is she has an extreme lack of maturity with this type of thing.
Yeah.
She is every instance in regards to, because, the relationship with him, she's been extremely immature about and extremely insecure about. And there may be reasons for that, who knows, but that's literally what their segment was, just that her mad about this picture. And I think, he's kind of, he's saying the right things, but at the same time he said, I didn't know you were like this.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with the Ashley thing. It's like, I didn't know you was like this. You know what? Might have to move around.
Doing the most. I'm sorry. Like, this man stressed out. He just got out of jail.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure he was probably like, what are you talking about? When she called him, like, what do you say? He probably truly didn't remember what, you know what I mean? Because he was dealing with getting checked in. He ain't thinking about
He's
not thinking about none of that.
And the whole thing is like, if it's a tablet from jail, why don't you just, if it bothers you so much, How about you place that with his stint in jail and leave it over there, and you both, what you're supposed to be doing, trying to move forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're sitting up here acting like this. You know what I mean? Like that. Nah. So, but ultimately, that was the whole thing. It didn't go much past that, and that essentially was the content for the episode.
Yeah, that was it. This was a pretty, I was saying, comparison to the other episodes, this is not that exciting of an episode. I mean, it had its points, but
it was a filler episode for most.
Yeah, it was. I'm so mad that we didn't get more on the whole.
We'll get more. Well, I mean, they're obviously they're stretching stuff out more likely, so probably this next one will be a little more impactful. So
yeah, but that's it for us. For this recap. Look forward to next week's recap. Hopefully, we have a little bit more for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And also, please feel free to comment below about y'all thoughts on this episode, what y'all see happening in the future with some of these couples. We're very responsive. So, yeah, and continue to follow us on all our social media channels. You can see those up top, TikTok and Instagram, and X.
Yes.
Yeah, X as well. So, continue to follow us, and we appreciate all the support. But yeah, this is the end of this recap. So, yeah.